Hey guys, so I finally did it. Went out and bought myself a new bass boat from Bass Pro Shops. It is a Tracker 175 TF. When I was doing my research, um, I did a lot of research over a few months, requested catalogs from the various manufacturers and all that. One thing I didn't see people talk about was the purchase process. Everybody's excited to have a new boat. They want to talk about the features of the specific model they bought and the brand and all that, but they never talk about the financing or what they did to actually obtain the boat. I guess a lot of people assume everybody knows that, but I thought I'd put this video together to help some other people who might be thinking about buying a boat, and hopefully this helps you. So why did I choose Tracker over some of the other manufacturers? And I'll be perfectly honest, it really boils down to value for the money. Um, this boat is 17 and a half feet long, has a Lowrance fish finder with downscan imaging, have two aerated and um, timed live wells, have a decent trolling motor on it, bilge pump, battery charger for the batteries built in. This thing comes pretty much ready to take out on the water without adding anything to it. When I looked at some of the other manufacturers, they couldn't even touch what you can buy one of these for. Is it top of the line? Are you getting all high-end stuff? Maybe not. But I'm also not getting a $500 a month payment on a $50,000 boat either. When you go to some of the other manufacturers, by the time you add, $100 for the fire extinguisher, another $50 for the horn, and hundreds of dollars for the fish finder and the trolling motor, and once you add all that up, you're way out of line with where Tracker prices their product. Another reason I went with Tracker was availability. I mean, Bass Pro Shops are everywhere, and they have them at every dealership. So even if the dealership I went to didn't have the one I wanted, the odds are pretty good that it's somewhere in the system. They could have gotten it for me pretty quick. Obviously, like any other manufacturer, you can order one, but you're going to be waiting, 6 weeks or more. Another thing, they had an incentive going where you get a $500 gift card to Bass Pro Shops, and then you get what they call a VIP discount card that's 20% off at Bass Pro Shops for 2 years. Obviously, there's some restrictions to that. Not everything is 20% off, but a good majority of what they have at least gets 10% off, which I'll make good use of that and really recoup some costs that way. So let's get into the actual purchase process. So what happened in the process of reaching out to these different manufacturers and requesting information, a representative from the Tracker Marine headquarters actually reached out to me personally and answered some questions I had, said, hey, would you like to schedule a time to come out and look at what we have? So I told them where my nearest Bass Pro Shop was. They set up the appointment for me, and so that following Saturday, I went up to the Bass Pro Shops in Portage, Indiana, which is about an hour and a half from my home. It's the closest one. And the folks there were really nice. They took me through all the different models they had on the floor, kind of talked about my needs versus where I wanted to be spending wise. And I pretty much went there knowing not only the model, but knowing I was probably going to apply for credit that day. So I took pay stubs with me. We did the credit app, which took, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to fill out. I left that information with him. One of the other things they allow you to do at that time as well, if I wanted to upgrade some things, maybe a nicer fish finder or trolling motor upgrade, they'll let you do it then. But the only reason I didn't want to do that is I can't see financing those little extras in a loan that theoretically could take 10 years to pay off. It didn't make sense to me to do that for little things that I could buy and install myself down the road as my needs change. Interestingly enough, when I went there, I got there before they opened. There was one of their mechanics standing out front, so I chatted with him for, I bet it was 20 minutes. and we talked a lot about how the quality of tracker boats has changed over the years, recently for the better, fortunately. Some of the other manufacturers maybe have gone down a little bit in quality, but the price hasn't gone down. If you have a good relationship with your credit union, you might be better off going through them and seeing what they can do for you on a loan. I went ahead and went with Bright River Financial, which was the financing arm for Tracker. They're kind of a clearinghouse. They're going to try to match you up with another lender that's more appropriate for your credit worthiness and the type of boat you're buying. One thing I liked about doing it this way, they only pulled one credit report, and my credit didn't get hit multiple times. So they pulled it once, and I'm going to be real honest here. Credit-wise, I have decent credit. I have income to back up my purchase. So, but I still got a rejection letter, which I thought it was kind of funny. I got the rejection letter the same day I got approved by somebody else. So the reality is, if you are really struggling credit-wise, your odds of getting approved get lower, but doesn't mean it's impossible. It's worth trying if you really want to do this. Just remember, you're buying something that's not a necessity. You go buy a car, you need the car to get to work, etc. You're buying a boat, you don't need it, really. The other thing I had to do when I submitted the credit app is put $250 down to start the process. It's credited towards your down payment. And if you don't get financed, they'll refund it. So I put it on my debit card, they gave me a receipt, and that started the process. The down payment that they required is 10%, but you don't have to bring the rest of the 10% until you actually come to close on the loan and pick up the boat. Yeah, don't expect to leave with a boat the same day. I mean, I'm sure that happens, but I bet it's very rare. They told me it would take probably 3 or 4 business days. To get my approval, it took about a week. That was mostly my fault because I didn't get a voicemail until a couple days later, needing more information. Although I provided pay stubs at the time I applied for the financing, they did call me a few days later and requested W-2s for the previous year. They called me again after that, looking for some clarification on my employment history. My employer actually got bought by a larger firm, so it looked like I had changed jobs a bunch of times, which I hadn't. So once I explained to them how that worked, that they were fine with that. So basically what happened is on the following Friday, I got a phone call that my loan had been approved. They gave me a brief synopsis of what the expected payment amount was going to be and the interest rate and all that. They told me they were submitting everything back to the dealer, and that the dealer would be in touch with me to schedule closing and all that, which they were. The following Monday, early in the morning, I got a phone call congratulating me, I guess, on spending a bunch of money. But they gave me some options of when to come in. I told them when I could make it up there, and that was that. They told me what to bring. Obviously, you need a cashier's check for the remainder of the down payment. The other thing they require, if you have a co-signer on your loan, that person has to be there as well for the appointment. The other thing is insurance for the boat. They will not let you leave without it. And to be honest, why would you? It's dirt cheap, trust me. You're going to be floored how cheap it is compared to car insurance. But for me, in my case, it was easy. They faxed over the specs for the boat to my insurance agent. I called my agent to give the okay. They sent the policy back to the dealer, and we were good to go. Going over the actual appointment, they said to allow about an hour. So we went in, we met in the finance office. They had a bunch of paperwork to sign. It wasn't bad. The signing took maybe 10 minutes. It was just the loan documents and signatures that you would normally have when applying for a loan that they couldn't get electronically. They also went over in detail the warranty and the process of making a warranty claim, because there is a process you have to follow if you want your claim to be honored. So they were really, really specific about if you have a problem, take pictures, do this, do that. It's all spelled out in the warranty paperwork, but they went over it in detail. Once all that was done, they basically, she handed me this manila envelope full of the documents and everything. Then they had a guy come in from the shop, and he took us out, and this is the fun part, guys. This is the part you're waiting for, because you're almost there. The boat's yours, but you don't quite have it hitched up yet. So they took us out there, and he went over everything top to bottom. I mean, in ad nauseum. It was crazy how much detail he went into. He even took the cover off the motor, showed me, general maintenance items, where the fuel filter was, oil fill, the dipstick. He asked me if I was going to do a lot of the maintenance myself. I said probably. So he actually went through the steps to change the gear oil in the lower unit, and how often you do the oil changes. He told me to keep a log for warranty purposes, so if you have any problems, you can have something to back up your claim that you've been changing the oil, etc., when you're supposed to. He made some recommendations on what products to use. Obviously, while you're under warranty, you want to use stuff that is recommended by the manufacturer. And for the engine, that'd be Mercury. Quicksilver oils. He recommended a fuel additive, since most of the fuel, at least here in Indiana, has ethanol in it. Where we go on vacation in Minnesota, you can get ethanol-free fuel just about anywhere. Because it's a big fishing area, they have lots of old, two-stroke outboards. We started the motor up with the flusher on the water intake. He helped us put the cover on, went through the manuals, showed us the information we needed to know. They gave us temporary registrations for the boat and the trailer, so we're legal to go on the lake if we want, and to tow it. We should be getting the paperwork to go to the BMV probably in the next couple of weeks. Another thing you'll need in Indiana after you buy a boat, if you want to go on any of the DNR Army Corps of Engineer lakes in this state, you have to have a state launch permit, which I ordered online as soon as my financing was approved. It was actually in my mailbox the day we picked up the boat. So that was taken care of. After that, it was mainly, let's hitch up and go. They helped us get it hitched up, which I've been around trailers my whole life, so that wasn't a big deal, but it was nice to know they're there to make sure everything goes smoothly. They get you out the door feeling confident that you kind of have a clue what you're doing. I was probably easy for them because, I'm used to boating. I've been around boats my whole life through my dad and my grandpa. So, other than that, I hope this was helpful. Hope you got some information that might put your mind at ease if you're kind of thinking about going down this road. And don't worry, since this is a TF, you've probably noticed most of the reviews of the 175 trackers are for the TXW model, and there are significant differences. It's the same hull, but the layout's a little different. I will post a video on that soon, but I wanted to get this up there as quick as possible while everything was kind of fresh in my mind. So, again, thanks for watching. If this was helpful, please like the video. If you want to, subscribe to my channel. I'll be posting some other stuff soon. So, have a great day.